How much is the minimum wage that the labor is fighting for? They should be able to pay it.
They are slow because they are just being selfish.
Even that 250 that they are requesting is too small.
In the heart of Nigeria's vibrant economy, there's a number that affects millions, yet remains unseen by many. It's the minimum wage, the least amount a worker can legally be paid, and it's a figure that carries the weight of history, hope, and hardship. The story of Nigeria's minimum wage begins in the 1950s with the late Chief Obafemi Awolowo, who implemented the first policy in the Western region, setting a standard that will spark national debate for decades to come. Fast forward to today, and the debate rages on. As the economy continues to bite hard, Capital Power TV hits the streets of Abuja to feel the pulse of Nigerians on the impasse between Nigeria's Labour Congress (NLC) and the federal government of Nigeria over the proposed minimum wage of 250,000 naira. The Nigerian Labour Congress declared an indefinite nationwide strike on 3rd June 2024, demanding a significant increase from the government's offer of 60,000 naira.
The prices of goods and services has increased tremendously in the country. Nigerians who are around are watching us and just wondering, why is Nigeria Labour Congress out this morning again? They will know that we are not just out because we want to collect salary, but because of their own problem too. Nigerian problem is our problem.
It is difficult in Nigeria for what has come up to come down. What we're even demanding is what inflation has caused already. As of today, we don't know what will happen tomorrow. Now, the issue of cost of living, it has gone up without salary increase for the past 5 years. There's hardly anything that have not moved more than 300 or 400% without wage increase. And now you can now see that the wage increase is not the cause of inflation. Because if wage has remained constant for 5 years and inflation is high, cost of living is running, whether you increase wage or not today in Nigeria, cost of living will continue to swell up. And then that wage that you suppress will still be there, and the people will not be able to even use the suppressed wage to even purchase even one item.
If government accepts the position of labor, it will cost taxpayers 9.5 trillion naira, 9.5 trillion naira to absorb what was proposed by labor if 494,000 is accepted. This, of course, is even a backward step by labor. Their original position of over 600,000 will have meant that government will need to find about 12 trillion naira to be able to pay that annually. Now, it is important for Nigerians to understand that whereas the federal government is desirous of ample remuneration for Nigerian workers, what is most critical is that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will not encourage any action that could lead to massive job loss. If this amount is accepted, many people in the private sector will not be able to pay this, and this will now further push people into unemployment. This is a position that government will not want to have.
Despite the Nigerian Labour Congress' firm stance on the 250,000 naira minimum wage. The president emphasized that the government will pay workers what it could afford.
We have negotiated in good faith and with open arms with organized labor on a new national minimum wage. We shall soon send our executive bill to the National Assembly to enshrine what has been agreed upon as part of our law for the next 5 years or less. In the face of labor's call for national strike, we did not seek to oppress or crack down on the workers as a dictatorial government of the past would have done. We chose the path of cooperation over conflict. Nobody was arrested or threatened. Instead, the labor leadership was invited to break bread and negotiate towards good faith resolution. Reasoned discussions and principled compromise are a hallmark of democracy.
While the government is slow to approve the NLC's request, some Nigerians believe is the right move, considering the country's dynamic economy. Others praise the labor union's efforts.
It's so sad that we live where people are not paid in commensurate with the job they are doing. For me, I feel it's very important for an increase in the minimum wage, but I feel that while Labour wants the best for workers, we should also look at the economy we have and make sure that the proposed minimum wage by Labour is something the government can take care of. But I believe that Labour and government should come to a level playing ground where it will be good both for the workers and for the government too. If the government can pay the squad of the people in the private sector, because there is no market for someone in the private sector and someone in the public sector. I go to the market every day as a result of my profession. And one man someday said in the market that he's waiting for this increase to come. That immediately government increases this minimum wage, that he will increase the prices of his commodity. I think improving the economic situation of Nigeria, first and foremost, is what percentage of the population is this increase going to affect? If it is affecting a little part of the population, what happens to the rest? Is our problem as a nation, our economic challenges, is it based on the minimum wage? There are other things that is causing the problem. The minimum wage alone, increase in minimum wage alone, will not just improve the economy. The economy of Nigeria needs to be tackled holistically, in a whole. We need to look at when people are hungry, the economy will never be better. People are hungry, the prices of foods are soaring up. Why? People can't go to their farms. I think the government needs to sit down and look at the problem of Nigeria holistically and take it one at a time.
The minimum wage is not high. In short, it has been long overdue. It's just that they have not been following it. The federal government have not been implementing it. So it has long overdue. And what they are actually asking for, 250,000 for heaven's sake. Everybody knows what is the market price of commodities is now, So that one is let's just manage it. They will tell you that they don't have money. The problem of this country has always been our leaders. Our leaders are not after their followers or their citizens. They're after themselves. There will be inflation now, definitely. Prices will even be times 2 or times 1 of what we are passing through now. It definitely is going to increase, but I don't know how they are going to do it. You see this thing that we're talking minimum wage, what about the people working in private sectors? Are they going to increase their minimum wage, their own salaries too? Because what we are even saying is just for those working with government. But they are not the only people working presently. We have private sectors. Part of this problem is we are the problem. You understand? We are the problem. I went to a country recently and I discovered that Nigerian rice there is 27,000 per bag. And I came back to Nigeria. Nigerian rice here now is like 70 or 80,000. So who is doing that one? Is it not we that we're doing ourselves? So we too, we have to sit down. You understand? We have to. There are a lot of adjustments we Nigerians we have to do. Like all these prices that are increasing in the market, we are the ones doing it.
I will employ our government, the house. If the government can pay the house millions of naira, mosquito allowance, newspaper allowance, and all of that, how much is the minimum wage that the labor is fighting for? They should be able to pay it. It's not much based on this thing that the federal government is slow. They don't want to do it. They don't want to do it. But me as a Nigerian, I stand on my ground that federal government should do something on it and try as much as possible. If you look at our country, precisely Nigeria as a whole, we are a country that God has blessed enough for everyone in this country not to suffer. If they should increase the minimum wage, I didn't think there should be increase in price of anything in our country, because we are not basing or negotiating the price of market and the minimum wage. We are not negotiating it. I want the federal government first and foremost to have a price control, in the sense that if they are selling a bag of rice in Yanya at 1,000 naira, it should be sold at area 1,000 naira. When you get to Kogi, you meet it 1,000 naira. That is where we can enjoy this our government.
The minimum wage, to me, it's too high, and it's not really realistic, because there are certain things they need to do to make that figure a realistic figure. Because when you increase this minimum wage, it means every arm of government is going to be affected. That there will be an increase, including the legislators, the executive, and the judiciary. I already know they are already earning so high. So they also check to see what they can also sustain. If it's the 200, 300, 600, 80, 70, fine. So they need to decide and see the long-term future of sustaining it. If minimum wage should increase, private companies will also have to increase, traders will also have to increase, so that everybody will be at parity. So you can't just have minimum wage benefiting by the government while the private sector suffers. Since the government workers patronize the private will find a way to milk it out from them. I believe the government, they can source for the right people to help them out of this. And I don't think it's by borrowing, but I believe they know what to do. They are the government. The government, they are very powerful. They are strong.
Considering the economic realities, the inflation rate is too high. So I don't think what the NLC and TUC is asking for is too big, because as a civil servant or a public servant, if you are sincere enough, you understand that your monthly salary cannot take you even up to 2 weeks. If they are sincere, the matter is supposed to have come to an end by now. It's just the way the federal government and the National Assembly tackled the issue of reintroducing the old national anthem. It took them less than 2 weeks to ratify that and pass it as a bill, which we're all learning today. So if they want to be sincere enough to handle the issue of minimum wage, by now, it should be settled by now. If you want to even consider what the labor is demanding for, it might not even affect what is in the market. Presently now, if you go to market to do your analysis, you understand that just 2 pieces of pepper, you will hear 500, 200 and all that. If government can at least establish one single refinery in this country, it will help in the production of petrol.
I don't really think the minimum wage is high, but I feel that's not the right thing to do right now, because increasing minimum wage is going to affect the country negatively. There's going to be inflation when the minimum wage is high, because the marketers will feel you earn more, so you should be able to purchase more. Maybe they have their own reasons for the slow response, but I feel what they should look at more is the price of fuel. If the price of fuel comes down, I think it will help with a lot of things. If we have like a stable minimum wage, or we still work with the present minimum wage, and then there's regularization of market price, and then there's decrease in the price of fuel, I don't think it will affect the price of goods, because if the price of fuel is low, the cost of transportation will be low, and there will be no need to increase the price of goods as well. There should be diversification, but then we have to fight insecurity to be able to diversify, because farmers don't even find it easy.
If the government can pay more than 500,000 to workers, it's not bad. Reason be that you can see a civil servant, they are not living comfortable. To have 3 square meals in a day is a problem. So issue of minimum wage, I think federal government should do something in a way that the civil servants will smile. Federal government should also help us, after increase the minimum wage, they should be able to introduce what they call price control. If they introduce price control, you see that the cost of living, definitely to crash down. They should introduce price control. They should also do something about the fuel price. You understand? That alone will crash it will make our economy to grow, because as you can see, a lot of people cannot come out from their various places due to transportation.
The NLC proposal is not too exorbitant as it look like, because the rate of the inflation now is on the high side, and considering the fact that God has blessed this country with a lot of resources that can run this country successfully, the Nigerian government is such a funny government that when something is not beneficial to them, they don't run it. If it's beneficial to them, I'm telling you, they will have endorsed it by now. But if nothing is beneficial to them, they don't care. So why would saying that when you increase the minimum wage salary, it will not increase the price of things? Already it has increased, so they can't meet up. So it's like, even in fact, if you endorse the proposed minimum wage, they will have to try to meet up with the demand of the market.
Mr. Suleiman Adeshina feels that Labour should be realistic and consider whether the government can afford the proposed amount.
Our advice to the Labour is for them to shift ground, just like what some people have advocated and pleaded with them, in order for the economy not to be shut down completely. Because if you are demanding what the government will not be able to pay, definitely we will all suffer for it. If government should approve the 250,000, definitely the economy will be even more harsh compared to where we are presently. I don't think they've taken more longer, That's why, if you remember very well, during the broadcast of Mr. President on this Democracy Day that just passed, he said after they reach the agreement for this present one, that the next one will have to start early in order for economy not to be shut down. Remember the last strike Labour went on for just these 2 days, I believe over 12 trillion naira, according to the experts, were lost on the side of the government, and this is not good for our economy. The best thing is for us to go into production. Reliance on one commodity, I believe some experts have said it in the past, that we just have to be more productive. I believe it will be good for our economy, and everything will go well for the government and the citizen.
Our leaders, they are not, in fact, they are not doing the right thing. What people do, they don't do it. They only fight for their own pocket and their children to come, their generation. That is why, because until they think what they're supposed to do for us, each and every for the masses. That's what they can do. That is when peace will reign in this country. Our problem in this country is just prayer. So it's just a leader. That is just it.
What the Labour is proposing on this minimum wage, to me, is okay. If the government can agree and answer us I don't know why the government is not responding, because things are too high in this country. The economic, anything you ask in the market, if you want to buy anything, it double the former price before. So the civil servants are finding it difficult to cope. It will affect the prices of food in the market, because that is how Nigeria is. Now that it is not increased, the price of goods are high in the market. Talk less of when they add, if they pay the minimum wage, with the price the labor are demanding, it will help, because some civil servants now to come to work, they find it difficult. The amount we are collecting now, it used to finish on transport, only transport. To feed your family now is very difficult.
That minimum wage is proposed is too small. You understand? Nigerians are suffering. We are actually suffering. You understand? We're supposed to add more than that. You understand? We're supposed to add more than that. We are counting on him, but we still need his effort. We need to put more effort about the minimum wage. We need that money, seriously. When they increase this price, let's assume I'm a farmer and I'm working with federal government. It will give me that enough resources, the money, like the interest and the little thing they'll add in that minimum wage. It will make me to expand my farming system, you understand, and to other firms and to other companies as well.
According to Mr. Amedu Menu, a stockbroker, giving such a large amount to civil servants alone is unwise, as not all Nigerians are civil servants. He believes tackling insecurity is a solution to the high cost of living in Nigeria.
It is not too much if the government is trying to give us a living wage, because even that 250 that they are requesting is even too small when you consider the everyday changes in the market. And to put such a huge amount of money just for a few thousand civil servants, while millions are lingering in poverty and difficulty, is not going to be wise for any government. Most of the companies will shut down because they cannot afford to pay such a huge amount of 250. But if they move a little bit, maybe they are giving 62 now, and even some local government and some state government are saying they cannot even pay. So why not the federal government move it to maybe 100? Banditry has stopped many areas from farming. If every place is safe for people to go and farm, the cost will come down naturally, because people will go to the farm. They will remain there without even fearing anything. When families are not feeding well, when families cannot even feed, how will you think the economy is doing well? The economy is not doing well at all.
Federal government should look into reducing prices of fuel. Because if the price of fuel should come down, every other thing will fall in place. Even if federal government decide to increase minimum wage to 300 without reducing prices of fuel, things will still go up. Things will still go up. Because the more the federal government increases minimum wage, the more the marketers or the prices of goods increases. We are talking about people working. What about those that are not working? And those of us that are working, we are praying that one day we will retire safe. If we retire, what should be our hope? We will not be talking about increase that time. You understand? So let government look into reducing the prices of fuel. Let federal government invest in agriculture and other things. You understand? Most of the things we are suffering is that we don't have food in the country. No food.
Increasing the minimum wage cannot solve the problem. All what they need to do is to bring down the cost of the fuel so that food and other things will be okay for Nigerians. They are slow because they are just being selfish. Not that the money is not there or what they don't know what to do. I think they are just being selfish in their own way. The only way that will benefit the masses is to bring down the fuel, because that is where the whole problem is. Before those that are not working, they can breathe. Now, even those that are working, those that are doing well, they can't breathe any longer.
Addressing concerns about compliance, especially given that some states still pay the old 18,000 naira minimum wage, while others comply with the current 30,000 naira, the National Assembly announced plans to include a clause that will provide clear sanctions for defaulters of the new minimum wage bill that will be passed after receiving the wage awards bill from President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. For the workers, it's more than just numbers. It's about dignity, survival, and the fairness in a rapidly changing economy. As the sun sets on another day, the fight for a fair wage continues, echoing the voices of the past and shaping the future of the nation.
How much is the minimum wage that the labor is fighting for? They should be able to pay it.
They are slow because they are just being selfish.
Even that 250 that they are requesting is too small.